The food today was served from the Cabindale in Catawba, and every time have chamber members provide our food for us. And also our new directories and information guides. If you know of anyone that would like some, let me know and we'll get them there. Or if you want to take some with you today, I've got extra out in my vehicle. So today, our speaker is Henry Snorton III. He's originally from Crofton, Kentucky. He did serve on the Christian County Chamber of Commerce Board as the president of business development. And then he decided to go out on his own because he's an entrepreneur type guy. And he serves as the executive director for MEDI. Or do you say MEDI?
MEDI.
Okay. It's a regional economic development agency which grew from a committee at the Christian County Chamber in 2009. His leadership there has yielded a national, state, and local recognitions, honors, and awards. I'll let him tell you more, but without further ado, Henry, welcome.
Thanks for allowing me, Vanessa and Jim. Thank you all for coming. I don't know if you knew I was going to be here or not before you rested. So, and I'm from the South, so we do have a couple of giveaways. Anytime you greet new people, you got to bring a gift to their location, to their home. So we do have some good giveaways. Not enough memos and coffee mugs, but definitely enough pens for everyone. So I'd like to give her a little more money. And when asking Vanessa how did we want to do the workshop today, there are a number of workshops that we put together, like Vanessa said. I worked as the Vice President of Business Development at Hopkinsville Chamber and decided in 2008 that I'd like to try my own business, which is a small consultancy. Our niche is catalyst consulting for results for the smalls, big impact. So we really focus on small communities, small nonprofits, small businesses as our clients, and we work from concept to completion on an ongoing basis. At the Hopkinsville Chamber, we did some business retention and expansion, and I don't want to get too technical and go on in this big spiel of credentials and things of this nature, but undergrad, my degree is in economics, my master's degree is in public administration. I'm one of Kentucky's certified economic developers. There's about 12 of us in the state, 2 of us in Western Kentucky, myself and the other guy that chairs for the directs the Christian County EDC named Mitch. So I have a little homework for you all before we get into our presentation, which is brand development 101. So if you all are heavy into graphics or you're heavy into marketing, this may be below. Okay? But if you're not, this should be a good introductory workshop and to understand some of the difference between branding and marketing and advertising. Okay? So now since I've given you the pins,
You set the time.
And I'm definitely a family man and entrepreneur. I have 3 sons, 8, 9, and 16 months. My wife teaches special needs, so it's really great for her and all us boys in the house. She understands patience. That's a copy of the presentation, and I believe Jim told us also that it's going to be online.
So this is our free homework.
Yes, we'd like to, I'd like you to take a little time and pin in some answers to some of those, so I want to give some feedback to you all. You know, it's no perfect. I'm not going to take it up and grade or anything like that, but definitely want to have a little fun with it so we can have some interactive conversation during our presentation. So everyone had an opportunity. Who would like to start us off to list your favorite product, place, service to do
I
business?
will.
Yes, please.
Okay. My favorite place right now is Sonic. You want me to go through the sheet?
No, just something.
Okay, just Sonic.
Anybody else got a favorite product, place, or service?
Acreage.
Acreage. What's Acreage?
Farm supply, hardware,
Why you like Eckridge?
Customer service.
Because of service. And Sonic?
Because they'll give me whatever I want, even if it's not on the menu.
Really?
Well, I mean, I don't say I want something crazy and have to go get it, but if I want something different and they have everything to make it, they'll do it.
Okay, okay.
Sonic on his way home.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a preference. They appeal to your preferences.
Mm-hmm.
And because of the customer service, they make you feel like the dollars that you spend, if you spend anything at all, is in play.
I have
Okay?
another one,
Yes.
and I'm not saying this because the owner's here, but So Cool in Grand Rivers. I like that because they do have good customer service,
Right.
but they also have a, their image,
Mm-hmm.
you know, it attracts people to
Gotcha.
in the products, the quality of products.
So Cool, that's the name of it?
So Cool.
So Cool, what's So Cool provide?
It's Lori's store.
It's just a little resort boutique kind of a place,
Okay.
clothes, shoes,
Mm.
resort.
Interesting name. Interesting name. Okay. So, can any other place, you talked about Sonic, can any other restaurant, fast food especially, kind of compete with Sonic?
Mm,
Who competes with Sonic in your eyes? Or no
I
one?
mean, nothing, no one in Princeton,
Right,
which is a small town, but
great, great. And that's really a great answer, because it's not so much it's based on it. You can get a hot dog, you can get a hamburger from any other place, in addition to Sonic. But the idea behind a brand of loyalty is that it's hard to compete with. It's not really based solely on money. It's not compete solely based on a location. It's a little more than that. And that's kind of what we're going to talk about is branding. And then he talks about how many people have you told about the tractor place or the farm places you went to, or So Cool. Anybody? She just told all of us about So Cool. She just told all of us about Sonic. So that's kind of what we're going to talk about today. An overview. You've already met who I am. We went through the brand exercise. So we're going to talk about the basics. What is branding? Brand development kind of in motion, the process of it. Because it is a process. Branding itself versus brand development. I'm going to try to show you a little bit and talk a little bit about the next steps. At the end of the day, the goal is to provide you with some type of practical. I'm very hands-on. I'm a practitioner myself. I'm an entrepreneur, business owner. In addition to this being a career, it's also a passion. So you got to have some tools. Hopefully at the end of the lunch and learn, you can leave and say, I enjoyed it because I had some hand-on development improvements that I can take and implement into my own business, organization, or what have you. Some usable knowledge and information about brand development to help you all to begin to brand your business or yourself. And this is what we talk about it in particular, because a lot of people don't pay attention to this part right here. But it's very common in small communities, in rural communities. You and your business are almost mutually exclusive. You can't be doing bad as a person if people see you bad in the community and your business is thriving. It's just in small communities. If you're in Chicago or New York, you may be able to get away with it. But in the rural community, it's a lot more touchy-feely. So we have to feel good about you in order to feel good about your business also. All right? So that goes, and it's also talking about branding. And we're like that also at a national level. Some people choose Chick-fil-A because of the principles that they have. And some people don't because of the principles that they have. So again, it talks about the image of the person as much as it does the business. If we seen somebody in the news was in some type of problem, some type of crisis, some type of Tiger Woods, for example. He had major problems and his image was hurt. And as a result, his popularity went down. And as a result, you see a lot of the endorsers backing up. You know, except big endorsers like Nike, they didn't go anywhere. It's like, we don't care what, we're going to ratchet the end of it. And that's fine, though. But that's the thing between, so it can be a national or it can be local. It just depends on how big of a stage the person is on. Okay. So branding, let American Marketing Association talks about branding, a brand, as a name, a term, service, simple things of that nature. But the idea of it is you want to be able to identify it. It should be identifiable. I think when generally I wear bow ties, except on Friday. So I'm almost Father's Day, so I said, let me relax a little bit. And I like that, not just the regular bow tie, but the bow tie that you get to tie. So it's part of my image. You know, because more likely they say, you know Henry? It's like, I don't know, it sounds to me he's a slim black guy who wears a bow tie. Oh, yeah, I know Henry, yeah. There's not many of them in the state. So that's part of the whole branding initiative. But it identifies a good old product to help one seller or group of sellers. But it also differentiates them from others. Okay? It also differentiates them from others. Toyota is different than Ford. Nike is different than Adidas. Burger King is different than McDonald's. And they use those brands to try to help identify some things. So in brand development, marketing itself is the method and means by which you prepare your business into the public consciousness. And this is the key word about branding, which is different than advertisement. Okay? Advertisement is more of an awareness, and branding is more of a consciousness. It's more so than I just thought about it. It's got to be some feeling to it. It's a little more interworking. Therefore, it makes sense to understand that branding is not about getting your product market to choose you over the competition, but it's ultimately about getting your prospects to see you as the only one that provides a solution to the problem. You can come up with another competition for Sonic. It shouldn't be done. We may think of somebody that competes with Sonic easily, but for that customer, I can't think of nobody that competes with Sonic on that type of basis. A good example. Oh, I'm having so many technical. I remember when my wife and I first moved into our home, there was a furniture store in Hopkinsville called Herberry's Furniture. Ed Casey's the owner, it's an old furniture company. And we had our sons were maybe 3 and 4 years old, you know, the average twins, and they were in the store with us, and we were looking around, and I was working at the Commerce Center as well. And, you know, like 3 and 4 year olds, they were jumping and bouncing and flipping and saying, hey, you know, baby, let's just go. It's hard for us to shop, so we decided to go. And this was on a Saturday. So later on, Peg called me. She said, hey, Henry, do you guys enjoy shopping? I said, yeah, we had a good time shopping. Did you find what you like? I said, no, we didn't really find what we like, you know, but that was okay. We're still shopping. She's like, why would you guys come back? What are you doing tomorrow evening? I said, after church, you know, we probably eat and just relax. She said, well, come about 5:30. I said, well, I didn't know you guys are open on Sunday. She said, we're not. But you guys, you had your children, and you didn't have the opportunity to really go around the store and look like I want you to look and enjoy your shopping experience here at Herb Hayes. And I said, well, let's get a few things straight. You know, we're spending probably less than $2,000. We're not big spenders. You know, we just try to find like a living room suit or something nice, maybe a bedroom suit. I said, but we're not, you know, big spenders. So I don't want you to think, she's like, I don't care if you spend a dime. I just want you guys to come, relax, enjoy yourself. You have the whole store to yourselves. That impressed me. I felt that. So when it comes time for us to buy any furniture, or if I hear of anybody buying any furniture, it's definitely Herb Hayes. I don't care my brother-in-law had a business. I'm still going to refer to Herb Hayes simply because of the way he made me feel. There's no competition in that type of thing. And those things can be duplicated by a small business as well as a big business. Big businesses have more money to pour into it, so they can do it a little more efficiently, but not better. So we're going to try to go down the ladder from awareness, which and you hear me say rural communities, small communities, more so than others because, for one, we're in a rural community. There's more rural communities than there are bigger communities. There's more people like Eddyville than there are like Chicago in America. America is a rural community country. The big communities do take precedence, but there are more communities our size, less than 50,000 people, or rural development, 35,000 people, than there are in the nation. Awareness is a shared problem. It is a shared problem because there's a cost, there's so much going on in life. Life tends to be a little bit more busy. So we talk about how to get people aware, how to make people prefer, once they are aware, how do they then prefer your business over another? And then how do they purchase? And when they do purchase, this is the first impression, or is it the second? And is it continued? It is definitely not a you owe me your business because I started my business in your community. Sometimes we hear small businesses feel like the community let them down. While open and nobody came to the store. You know, maybe they didn't do any research whatsoever. And there's only one said to build, and I can remember, you know, God telling Noah that. But most of the time, businesses don't have that same type of divine revelation. They're doing something that they feel, maybe they were inspired, but the whole research part, they haven't really put that into it. And then you have loyalty. And loyalty comes back to preference. And it gets away from the choice or the option. And then so this is the only one that we can do business with. So, any of these, any business owners in here, do you use any of these to help people become aware of your business?
What was the question?
Do you use any of the examples to allow people to become aware of your business? Do you have any billboards, any tags, any hats, any signage, what type of advertisements, any referral cards, any referral customer appreciation cards, any of them, or any example? Or give me some examples of how do you make people aware of your business. After Vanessa and Jim come out, they do this great ribbon cutting. How do you continue to stay engaged with your potential or existing customers?
Well, we advertise in the, advertised in here, a little ad.
Okay. Anything else? Any other? Tell me how many business owners are in here today? And you all are employees?
Yes.
Okay. Do you do advertising for your companies or some other? Okay, cool.
Well, just going out in the community and introducing yourself,
Right.
shopping locally.
We go to ribbon cuttings, we're a staffing company,
Okay.
and we'll hand out like referral cards or hats, coffee
Which
mugs.
staffing?
People Plus.
Okay.
And most of them have Facebook pages.
Okay. Wonderful. The booklet that you advertise in for the So Cool. Do most of the citizens in Eddyville utilize this, or is it more for tourists?
Both.
Both? Okay. So the next, of course, Facebook is a very good advertiser. There's other guerrilla marketing. The U.S. Postal Service has a really cool way of allowing you, if you want to mail some information to somebody, you can mail it to a neighborhood, you can mail it to a street, and they'll have to use stamps. It's about 15 and a half cents per item that you mail, and it goes directly from the deliverer to the mailbox. It has like a route to one, but it's a really good way to put something in the hand of somebody in the neighborhood that you know are going to use your product. You know, if you People Plus is a business, so advertising in the neighborhood may not be its best, but for So Cool, advertising in a subdivision or neighborhood is a really good, effective way to get people out there to understand who you are. And then the preference, you know, a lot of likes on the Facebook, you know, there's a little research that say likes don't relate to revenue. You know, but it doesn't take anything to like a page. All right, so people can like, you can have 1,000 likes and not made a dime, but it's still good to have 1,000 likes. You can always tell people to like our page and then do something, and they do all as well. First impression is loyalty. Anybody have a great first impression other than the one that I just shared? Great first impression. Well, give me an example, Vanessa, of the customer service that you feel when you were at the farm service. How do they demonstrate?
You're greeted when you walk in.
Okay.
If they see you looking around and, you know, like I'm lost, you know, they, you know, can I help you find something?
Wonderful.
They're just personable.
Right.
Always wanting to help you out to your vehicle if you need it. They're just good people. And, but back to what you said, the owners have a good name
Gotcha.
and good character.
Right.
And so you associate that with it also.
Right. And see, and again, that's a rural community thing. More likely, we know, some people know the owners of fast food chains in the communities, but not all of them. So they have the opportunity to be a little less transparent. You know, you don't always know the owner of a Burger King or Dairy Queen. So their character is not as important as how the people in that store treat you. So there's a few exceptions, but there's not a lot. And then, of course, loyalty. So you see this guy, you see loyalty with things like Michael Jordan tennis shoes, iPhones, iPads. And I have an Apple product, so I can see how you can get addicted to them. Any other things that you see people get super addicted to? Scandal, y'all watch Scandal on television?
Oh, yeah.
You know, I've seen people watch Scandal, and you see a lot of fanatical type of activity around different things that people really enjoy. Okay. So what does a brand do? It definitely delivers a message clearly. Delivers a message clearly. You get into the naming, you get into the identity of the company. It confirms your credibility. This is a brand that we're talking about. It connects you to the emotions of your potential prospects. It motivates the buyer, concretes the loyalty, which is increased buying. And the good thing about that is on the small business, you definitely want to retain your customers. Most people in a smaller community will come and visit your establishment at least once, normally. After that, and they're going both to be nosy and also see what type of product that you have. And then there's going to be some feedback. Either they're going to come back again, or they're not going to tell everybody, I wouldn't go back again if you paid me. Or they're going to say, it was phenomenal. I'm glad they did have something like this here. And it comes from the same thing it does in livestock. You know, it's not seared on the side of a person physically, but it is seared in the mind of the person. So the same as you would brand a livestock on a farm, is the same when you try to brand a customer from your business standpoint. It's a market that identifies an animal. If you're a marketer, you have to come up with think of ways of branding so that you can share it to somebody's mind and their heart that identify the product or service or the company. I like Toyota products. They've been reliable, and for a young family, one thing that we do not want is transmissions going out, have to replace this and replace that, maintain the vehicle. That's all I have to worry about is gas and a little maintenance. So it's proven to be a very loyal car back for us. So when it's time to shop, it's what Toyota we want to get. We like other cars. We like Cadillacs, and we like Fords, we like Chevys, Tahoes, Denali's. But when it comes time to buy, it's going to be very challenging. Even if it was a $5,000 difference on that car for us to leave the Toyota family. It's just challenging because it's been a reliable vehicle for us. So in brand development, you have to identify your strengths and value above others. Okay, that's your niche. Like I said, if you was on my consulting firm's website, it would say Catalyst Consultant for impact of small businesses. So we try to identify immediately, we're not here for the bigger companies. And at that point, it tries to tell you, well, if they're not here for the bigger companies, they may not be here for big money also. Of course, we do want to make money, but it says because we're small, we already identified immediately that it's not a Xerox or it's not an Apple that we're dealing with. So thinking that we're going to get a $20,000 check a month is not likely. And that's fine. That's to make you feel like we're with you in the same struggles that you're going through. And that's just identify your strengths and value, not just your strengths, but your values also above others. People Plus could be a great example as identify both the values and the strengths above others. Is there a particular thing that you guys market to as a strength?
We have like kind of a logo, everyone counts, like we don't discriminate or, look down on any employee that walks through our door. We try to help, everyone the same way as we would someone that, someone with a higher degree is opposed to someone without a degree.
Who is the primary customer with People Plus? Is it the employee or is it the person?
I would say the employee more than the client. Yes, there's lots of clients, that needs that need, but there's more people looking for a job, so.
Right. The second is to position you to take advantage of your uniqueness. What's unique about So Cool? What's unique about Lake Barkley Chamber in the community? What's unique about Eddyville? What's unique about Lyon County? To take advantage of your uniqueness in branding the community. And I can, just like in Hopkinsville, more likely if you did an internal survey, more people in the community see the community different than people outside the community. And people outside the community tend to think about the shopping, and incarceration. And now it's beginning to grow over. When I say, it's great coming down with all of the outdoor activity. Of course, Venture River also. It's beginning, and it takes time to rebrand itself from 20 to 30 years to something new. But definitely take advantage of their uniqueness. At MEDI, with the Economic Development Group, our job is we don't do any industry recruitment. Okay? Because that's not, I don't believe my skill set. We could, yes, could we be effective? I believe so. But where we are in our region, we do some small business recruitment where we can recruit a company from another community to Hopkinsville or another community somewhere in the region. But we believe we're the best at small, women, and minority-owned business development. In the state, whether you're talking to SBDC or what have you, as far as being a resource. Our goal is to walk with someone. We talk about, we put the training wheels on the bicycle, we give you the push, we take the training wheels off, and watch you as you ride away. And then we go catch up with you, see how things are doing. So we don't just start a business, we try to have a relationship with a company. We go visit them, say hi. And we started doing this at the chamber when I was there also. And it was very interesting how many businesses said, you're the first one to ever come to visit me. And it made an impression on me. I said, well, so what I do is, that's part of business development. That's a field part of business development. We understand this myself, an executive assistant, and some interns. We can't do it all. We cannot do it all. We use a push-pull method. This push-pull method is where we have a grid. And on this grid, we have performance versus potential. Okay? And we can chart where a potential or an existing business is based on their past performance and then based on their potential for growth. For example, somebody may say, I want to start an automobile repair place. Okay? Have you started in the past? Okay, so no, I'm just now started. I used to work at Walmart in the automobile service, or I used to work at Sears or something like that. So their performance is three different columns. Is in the small or the low column, and then we talk about their potential. And you hear when we sit down and talk to someone, we hear about where they're trying to go in business. So not just that's guy that want to open a garage and get a couple guys, and that's what we want to do. Not interested in franchising the business, but not interested in putting it in another community. That's interested in having a little, what we call supplemental income or income substitute. There's not a big difference between that type of sole proprietorship and working for someone else. Because if he's not at work, the business doesn't make any money. The same way as, unless you're on a salary or something like that, if you're not at work, you're not making money. So those in economic development is kind of called income substitute. So he has to pull our resources from us. He or she has to be the one to initiate the contact. We will schedule an appointment and call to verify it's okay with you, but you have to do the pulling. You have to show us that you are the serious one in this situation. And we relax. And then when you pull it, we respond. Whereas somebody else said, I met a client the other day, and they said, we want to do we make egg rolls. And they said, we want to become an egg roll king. All right. So, what I'm not a business guy. So do not determine what business succeeds and what business fails. No. Okay? My job is to make the business's probability for success the highest as possible. Okay. So I can't determine what God's going to do to this person, or this business, or this economy, or any of you all's conscious to make you feel like you want to do business with this. And the last thing I want to be is the jerk that told you you wasn't going to succeed, and then you become a billionaire. And you're on TV, let me tell you about this guy named Henry, who told me I was not going to succeed all over the world, so that's not my role. But what's interesting is we went from, he wants to make egg rolls in the house, to the point of, a lot of gas stations in rural communities serve pizza, chicken, why not also egg rolls? And he makes different kind. So we talked about it from that type of model. So now he went from him and his wife or fiance making a few egg rolls to a caterer, to the potential of being a food manufacturer. Now we're talking a little growth. And stage 2 is, if you can manufacture and put them at all the Max Fuels or all the Hucks or all the different Dodge stores in this region, why can't you then eventually in stage 2 ship them overseas? Now we're talking about a major growth opportunity. Food service is growing. You can't outsource food service. You can outsource textiles, some things, back office operations. You can't outsource food service. So we're gonna push our services on you. We're gonna call them, hey, how you doing? How's your business plan going? Are you at this level? You know, what are you doing? We wanna make sure you stay in good contact. Again, that's our uniqueness. So you have the opportunity to match your uniqueness with your position and the others in wants and needs. These are key terms in brand development, want and needs. A lot of times, people will talk about what we need, okay? Our community needs this, or people need that. My argument, is people tend to get more what they want. Most people don't spend time on their needs. We may need to get up and walk a mile every day in the morning, but we don't do it until we want to. We may need to eat more healthy, but we don't do it until we want to. We may need a more economy car. We may want to buy more of a luxury car. We do more things based on our wants than our needs. That is just the default. That's just being human. So the same thing with a business. You know, you may think, people want this or that in business. But when you develop your brand, whatever brand it is, as an employee or as a business owner, you want to attach it to what people want. They want to be able to go to Sonic and get some things that's not on the menu. They want to be able to go to the farm service place and have a good customer service relationship. They may not need anybody to carry out the groceries or whatever they do, but they may want somebody to offer it. So, and in brand development, these are the different subcomponents, if you will. Service, the impression or image or the reputation, like we talked about, kind of the character or the moral of the person or the business, the logo design, and they're not the same. The logo or the slogan or the designs. When you talk about the website, the slogan. Slogans are then to be 7 to 9 words on the slogan. Value, product, service, benefit, price. You know, you can't outprice yourself and lose the loyalty of a customer. We had one client. If the portions of food that you serve at your restaurant begin to get a little smaller, but I'm paying you the same amount, either I'm going to say something to you or I'm not going to come back. I feel like the relationship we had, I give you this or that. Now I'm only getting 6 fries in my bag of fries, and I used to get a bundle of them. Well, now we got a problem. You've been disloyal to me. I'm not going to spend my $9 at lunch because I feel like I'm being cheated now. So the price of the service has something to do with it. And all of these interrelate to your brand. So when you see a Toyota logo, you heard the slogan, you see the design. The company has a reputation. If you ever had a callback, where they say, hey, bring it back, or if you ever been to a Toyota automotive service, the service has to work. You can't have a beautiful slogan and a good reputation, and then we go to drive it, it's junk. Or we go to buy it, and it breaks apart and falls apart. There has to be some value, product, service, benefit that we're receiving. So when you're developing your brand also. So these are brands that run stuff. And we're kind of coming to the conclusion. Anytime you have something that you want to say, please jump in. And the brands that run stuff because they say things immediately when you see them. Okay. Have you ever asked a guy, do you drive a motorcycle? If he has one of these, what does he say? No, I drive a Harley. He immediately gives you to the image and the brand of Harley drivers. I mean, and they have like an inner circle, inner group. You can have the nicest Ducati or Honda, but if you got a Harley Davidson motorcycle, you're in a different class. All right? Toyota and Microsoft. Now, what's neat is when we talk about brands that run stuff. Brands that run stuff. All right? If you sneeze and say, achoo, what does someone say? You want to clean that? That's the brand. It's really a tissue. All right? But somebody say, you want Kleenex? You know, the brand is Kleenex. That's the brand. And they run that industry. And to the point that it's become our vernacular. Nobody says, would you like a tissue? You know, they say, you want Kleenex. And that is branded, it's seared into us now. It's remote. And the same thing is you got to cut, oh, you got to boo-boo. Let me get you a Band-Aid. You know, so that brand comes up first. Now, if you got a Band-Aid and it didn't stick on your leg and didn't help the blood, anything like that, then it changes the loyalty. So that, like we said before, on these two, it has to have some service to back it up. And the image is, it's not good, it's not bad, it is neat because they've run it. So they run that type of brand. And these are examples of image building brand. Image building brand. All right? We know what this one is before we even say what it is, because it's image building. And it's two different. One is breast cancer, women's breast cancer, and there's another one. We know what the NBA brand logo is. And some people can get upset with this brand because they may not believe that there's enough value in the league. Some people who are very sport enthused, they love sports. They say, I don't watch the NBA, I watch college ball, but I don't watch any NBA. Because they don't agree with the value and the benefit they get. If I drove a Ferrari, it would immediately tell you something about me when I put up. If I put up in a Ferrari, you say, wow, okay. You immediately know what type of person it is, or what type of image. If my watch was a Rolex, you immediately know what type of person it is. You think the image of this person is you already get that in your mind. So the same thing, if somebody has a donkey on or elephant on, you know where they stand when it comes to politics. The message that they tried to inspire, this was a message, so this was branded in imagery within a political campaign. Was the hope, whether he fulfilled the hope or didn't fulfill the hope, is different than a message that inspired people to vote for him or not to vote for him. Again, whether he fulfilled the hope or not, I'm not here to argue that, but I'm saying in a political campaign, he tried to inspire people with a brand through them. All right? So those are the basis on branding 101. So everything is definitely not branding alone. Slogans alone are not branding. Second chances, logos, commercials, just them by themselves are not branding. If you tell me that you have the nicest place to come and visit and enjoy, and I show up and it's the exact opposite, you haven't fulfilled your promise that was advertised in your commercial. It's not just a location. You have a great location in the business part of town. If you cannot do business with someone to make them feel, it has to be, the key to branding is there's an emotional tie to it. It's not just getting the word out, but there's an emotional tie to it. It's not just the product or service, name or words, all right? All those things kind of go together to create the brand of a company. And the brand of the company is based, again, on the values and on the strengths that you deliver, your uniqueness. And this, in closing, some tipping branding tips and resources. It's a neat book, Brand for Talent. There's other books called Made to Stick, Tipping Points, that you can look at. A brand with no point of view has no point. It's okay to be divisive. Not divisive in a negative way in your marketing, but sometimes your marketing is for particular people. Some people say, I don't like it. But obviously that's not the customer, and they're made to either reject it or accept it. The GoDaddy commercials. They use a woman. Some of the commercials are kind of racy. Some people like it, some people don't like it. Fulfilling branding, vanilla's out. You want to have some flavor to yourself when you're advertising. Forget the transaction. Give me an experience. Give me an experience, a memorable moment that I can identify. There should be a point in time to any good place that you went to that either gives you an emotion or doesn't give you an emotion based on the experience that you had at that location. A realtor, either if you dealt with them before, they sold your home, or they helped you buy a home, that made you feel a certain way. So it's not just based on the sale or on the transaction, but the experience that you deliver, and the experience that you deliver is based on the consciousness that you're gonna receive from that. And last is the mandated system. You have to wow someone every time. That's hard to do in business, but it's business. And it becomes noticeable. And when you wow them in business in every way, you begin to brand and you begin to sear it into them. And you create a loyal customer. You create a loyal customer. Next. Next steps. Things to remember to know that to succeed in brands, you must kind of understand what the wants and needs are of your customer. That's why the research kind of comes in. If you don't know them, you have to ask them. If you don't know what are the wants and needs of your customer. A want, for example, the crave with Taco Bell. Their advertising most of the time is now over to what, 4 in the morning? You know, who needs a taco at 4 in the morning? But that's a want that customers have. That flexibility, that convenience, now over to 4 in the morning. Your brand resides within the heart and minds of your customer. Again, we're talking about emotional linkages to experiences that somebody got, whether they called you and felt it over the phone. Because you know, you can tell tone on the phone the same way you can tell tone when somebody's smiling at you or not smiling at you. Is the sum total of the experiences, the perceptions. Some you can influence, some you cannot. And it's really key to be consistent and focus on your customers' wants and your ability to deliver. So don't oversell. And as small business owners, sometimes we really like to do that. It's not just you uniquely. Keep your solution simple. Theory, the KISS theory. And branding is culture. The same way. It's culture just like in small communities. These are the next steps to keep in mind as you develop your product and brand. You guys have any questions for me? Thank you for the opportunity to share.